is not in there is he breaks down and cries because of a friend. And this is why we do what we do, because it takes a friend to help you through. James had a friend that helped him through. Helped him by the hand, walk him through the process, to be there and listen to his crap and his complaining, but to encourage him all the way along. I want to share something with you. Progression 7, our mission is to educate, celebrate, and promote healthy progression in life. We liberate the mind and body from the toxic beliefs and behaviors that weigh down and bury self-esteem. We help communities, companies, and individuals create a life worth living and live a life of worth. We restore harmony to the physical body so we can rediscover the soul's purpose. I thought it was important to share some of that with you because products don't work. As long as you get to know me, I'm going to harp on that again and again and again. There's a lot of weight loss programs out there, weight loss products out there. I've been doing this way too long, and I'm going to stay on my foundation that they don't work, but programs do. Why? Because this does something for people. And that's what we're here for. And if you can do that for someone else, then that's what we're here for, to teach you how to do that. So progression 7 represents possibility. Here we go. Kiss pain goodbye. Who's experiencing pain right now as we speak? Okay. This has been one of the most popular subjects that we've ever talked about. And a lot of what we talked about, there's some science. I've dumbed it down to a point, but I know some trainers were going to be here tonight. And so I want to do kind of a dual workshop. Some of it's for you trainers. Some of it's for those of us just trying to lose weight. Okay? Kiss pain goodbye. We're talking about the head and neck, the lower back, and the knees. There's pain all over. I know if your pain isn't in those areas, that's okay. I'm going to address mainly those areas, but everything that we cover is going to apply to other areas. The solution, in most cases, that I'm going to drive home with you is align, challenge, and stretch. Everybody say align.
Align.
Say challenge.
Challenge.
And stretch.
Stretch.
Okay, that's what we want to learn. I'm going to come back to that again and again. Align, challenge, and stretch is the solution. Here we go. Common pain. Two trainers. First thing, question, what kind of professional service are you offering? You don't want to hit and miss process of training and evaluation. Your retention depends on your knowledge of the kinetic chain. We're going to talk about the kinetic chain. Here we go. I'm rolling through some slides for a minute. Posture. According to the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, Posture Committee, as far back as 1947, posture is, and I quote, that state of muscular and skeletal balance, keyword there, balance, which protects the supporting structures of the body against injury or progressive deformity, irrespective of the attitude in which these structures are working or resting. Under such conditions, the muscles will function more efficiently. So posture, balance was a key word there, posture. The problem that it presents is imbalance. Without balance, structural deformation results in perpetual pain. This will hit home soon. Solution is to get balanced. If our body is out of balance, we need to get balanced, especially if it's causing pain. Balance provides structural stability, joint tracking, and neural efficiency. Structural stability, that's your bones. Your bones are moving in the right order, in the right way. Joint tracking, your joints have to be lined up. Your joints are pulled or switched based on your tendons, your ligaments, overactive muscles, underactive muscles. Your neural efficiency is the signal that you send from your brain down into your muscles, telling which muscles to fire, which joints to move, which appendages to move. Sometimes what we have is we have overactive neurons that are firing both muscles at the right time or at the wrong time. In other words, it's like if I were to pick something up off the ground, I'd pick it up like this. My biceps should fire. If my triceps firing at the same time, there's a problem. That's what happens if we're inefficient neural. We have inefficient neural channels. Okay, I got something for you. Where's my 10-pounder? Somebody take it?
At the door.
Oh, well, that's a prop. Okay, what I got here, thank you. This will come into play later. I want this to be just passed around the room. And if you're sitting away from anybody, that's fine. Just I want you to feel the weight of it. Just pass it around the room. Okay. Bad posture question. Are you born with it or is it developed over time? What do you say? Generally speaking, yes. It's developed over time. You can be born with some deformities that prohibit good posture. But I want you to imagine this. Imagine you're training 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for one single event. Are you going to get pretty good at it after a while? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to improve those skills. You're going to get pretty good at it. Well, our culture, our society has become pretty good at sitting down. We do a lot of sitting down compared to what they did back in the prehistoric era. They didn't sit down very much. We were hunter-gatherers. Now we sit down all the time. You're sitting down now, lazy butts. We sit down at our computer. We sit down to read a book. Or we lay down to read a book. The problem is that it affects our posture. And if we don't do something to correct that, it's going to lead to an imbalance inside of our body. That imbalance, in every case, will eventually lead to pain. Environment builds structure, and structure determines function. Let me explain this. Structure can change because bones can change. Did you catch that? Structure can change because bones can change. Bones actually change. Minute by minute, your bones are changing their structure. And since all you lazy folks are sitting down, your bones are structuring to the chair that you're sitting in. You're not really lazy, I know that. I'm just saying, try to make you laugh. It worked on some. Your bones are structuring to the environment that you place them in. And here's some proof of that. The first Apollo mission, those three folks up there, when they came back, two of those three, this was the first long term. This was not the single Earth orbit or the double Earth orbit. They were there, I thought, a month. But I shared this story with someone recently because the history has been rewritten, and they said it was 7 days, which just enhances my point anyway. So whether it was 7 days or whether it was a month, they came back, got out of the decompression chamber, stepped out of the plane. First thing that happened was they broke their toes. Their toes broke. They started to research and study why. It's because they were in space. They didn't need them. They didn't have any pressure or force on their feet during that whole time in space. So they stepped out and their feet broke because it was your body just was taking the nutrients out of the bones and the feet, didn't need them anymore, putting them somewhere else. Pretty cool, huh? Not that he broke his foot, but pretty cool that we restructured. Our bones can change. Here's another example. I get this all the time, where I'm just big bone. We'll have another workshop on that. Where my hips are just this wide. Really, they're not. And you'd be surprised if you take some x-rays, compare your big bones to somebody else that's, fairly slender, you'll be surprised. The measurements are within centimeters. That's about how much they vary. They don't vary very much, not like you think they do. Okay, kinetic chain. We're getting into the heartbeat of it now. What is it? It's best described as a movement system with muscles, joints, and neuron activity requiring precision of movement, alignment and mechanics of each joint, and 3, proper recruitment of muscles and joints to create a movement pattern. This will make sense in a little bit. Okay, 3 planes of motion, 3, 6, 8. This is the way I like to look at it. First, 3 planes of motion. There's what's called the sagittal, the transverse, and the frontal plane. We don't need to go into those very specific. This is what I want to talk about. The 6 stations. We got 6 stations through the body. It helps us to assess, analyze, and prescribe a solution to any pain in any of those areas. Number 1, the foot and ankle complex. Number 2, the knee complex. 3, the lumbo-pelvic hip complex. 4, thoracic spine. 4, the lumbar spine. 5, thoracic spine. And 6, the head and neck. or the cervical spine. We're able to break that down. Here's what's key, is there are 8 chains. And see those cross patterns on the front and back side of that muscly guy? I want you to become familiar with this because that's what this workshop is all about, is those chains. Notice the black goes from shoulder to knee. On the other side, other shoulder to other knee. Okay, now watch this. If you have some pain down in your knee area, do you know that can lead to a pain up in your shoulders? Or maybe you're not feeling it in the knee and you're feeling a pain in the shoulder. Do you know what can be caused from something going on in the knee? You mean? No. Okay. That's what I want to show you. That's what the kinetic chain is all about. You may be experiencing pain in one spot. You go to the doctor, and typically what happens is the doctor will work on that spot. And that's all they do. In fact, a lot of times now, if you got a spot in the knee or in